Most leather wallets look great. This one sounds great too. I've been doing leather work for nearly 10 years, and adding a snap closure is one of those single biggest luxury things you can add to a wallet or card holder. This was a beautiful build. It's out of Novonappa, one of my favourite calf skins, and it's got Alran goat on the lining, which is going to look phenomenal. So, what are we going to do? I was asked by a friend of mine, a very, very close friend of mine, to make her a business card holder. She travels a lot, she goes to a lot of conferences, and she needs to carry some business cards. The colour of her car is a rather beautiful pink, so I thought, why not make a Novonappa wallet, which is the famous Berenia that most of you guys will know from Hermes, and it's got pink lining. So one of her bags I've made for her before is made of Novonappa. I really enjoyed making this. I've not made a lot of envelope style projects before, but this one I really enjoyed, and you'll see why. It turned out beautifully. I'm using a knife I was given I won it by Ibex Ironworks in the US. It's a beautiful piece. It's absolutely gorgeous to cut with. In fact, it's the only knife I use now, basically, apart from my journaling skiving knife, which is really, really, really sharp. I've had this Novonappa split down to 1mm. It's quite thin. And the reason I've done that is because I've not done a normal lining technique. Normally, my linings are not laminated. They're not glued on entirely. But I didn't want to put an interfacing material in this. I didn't want to put a bonded leather or anything similar like a microfiber into this. I wanted to keep it as soft and supple and natural as I could. I wanted her to be able to throw this into her bag and it live in there like it was built to. That was my entire goal of this piece. I really, really enjoyed making this, in case you hadn't noticed. It's a pattern I've not done before. It's technically a prototype, and it's one that I'm still designing, I'm still developing. I don't think people ever fully stop developing prototypes, developing their patterns. A pattern almost always, sometimes they're perfect, but they are often changed for years to come. They're changed millimeter here, millimeter there, just to get the stitching perfect, or just to get the edges perfect, or the gusset lining, or whatever it might be. Because a pattern is the key to a perfect project. The goat I am using, I have split down with my Druckle splitter. I split it down to 0.6mm, so really, really, really thin. And the reason I've done that is, again, because I'm not putting interface lining in this. I don't want it to be a thick, bulky piece. I want her to be able to put her cards in there without worrying about it fitting or tearing, or not tearing, but without worrying about it stretching. And the way you do that is by keeping it thin. Business cards are thin. If the thing you're putting inside the thing is thin, make the thing thin. That was a hell of a tongue twister, wasn't it? But I really enjoyed making this. So next we're going to fully laminate it. We're going to use a EcoSar 1/6 PIU contact adhesive. It's a water-based contact adhesive. It's the only one I use. I do use a solvent-based sometimes, but the majority of the time I don't. Now, I will not be showing you guys how to do the covered snap in this. I'm going to cover a snap with pink goat so that it contrasts the outside and matches the inside. I've got a full tutorial on that, I will do shortly, on my Skool community, so don't forget to use the first link in the video description to go sign up to my new Skool account, where I'm going to be putting loads of exclusive content for you guys that I don't have space for on my YouTube channel. I want to be able to give you guys more stuff, and YouTube just is not the right place for it a lot of the time. So don't forget to sign up to that, and you will love it, I promise. We're going to crease it as we normally would. I'm not going to show the edge painting, and not because I've got a course on it. I do. but because it is already quite a long build, it's a 12-minute project, so I don't want to go over everything. Now normally I would tell you guys to scuff up your leather, to scratch it up on the top surface, on the grain surface, so that your glue adheres properly. With natural veg tan, this is not veg tan, this is retanned, it's chrome and veg, but with natural veg tan that doesn't have a surface finish on it, which this doesn't, you don't need to scratch the surface because there's no protective coating to scratch off. There's no dye or pigments or anything to scratch off, so you don't need to do it. But normally I do suggest scratching off the top surface so that the glue can impregnate the fibers properly. Now, you guys might have seen envelope wallets in the past, and you might have wondered how they get those stitches there without going through everything else. You stitch it first, so I'm about to show you that. So you stitch the envelope part onto the wallet part after you've stitched the envelope part. So the first thing you do is you stitch up all of the pockets, the envelope part on top of it, so you get it all done and all dusted, painted, stitched, everything. And then that module, I'm going to call it, the card module, fits onto the rest of the card holder. I'm using a 3mm pricking iron, and I'm using a 0.45mm thread, and it's like an off-white colour, you could say. It's a Misi thread. I don't use Lin cable, fil chinois, don't use it, don't like it, it's not uniform enough. This is, I don't know where it's from actually, I think it might be China, but it's beautiful. It's the best thread in the world. I've got links to it in the video description. They're from Leatherbox. I do recommend getting them. Now, because I want the edges to be nice and thin, this is luxury leather work after all, I cannot mark the Novonappa because you'll see it forever. So what I'm doing is I'm actually going to skive the lining off instead of the back off. I'm going to hand skive it off with my Jinlin knife, which works beautifully, and I've used some masking tape because you do not want to go above the pocket line, because ideally the edge isn't really very different in thickness all the way around the pocket. In theory, there is not a lot of thickness change all the way around the wallet. It stays roughly the same. And that's why we skive, that's why we do everything we do to squeeze together. I'm using the same 3mm pricking iron on this main card slot because obviously I want it to match. I want the whole thing thread-wise to match. Now, I did have a little bit of an internal debate with myself about this, because when you go around the top bit, the flap, that's technically the front, so you're stitching around the front and the back at the same time. So I did have a bit of an internal debate. Do I prick this from the front and then do the sides the other way around, because the sides are not the front on the front? But I decided, you know what, most people actually don't really notice. They just look and they think that it's nice stitching. I went to the Harrods boutique recently in London. I went for my birthday, and I had a phenomenal time, before you ask. It was one of the best days of my life. And what I noticed was that the luxury leather goods there, the very high price, like $10,000 bags, £10,000 bags that were there, they did not have artisanal grade finishing, and people didn't notice. They just looked at the shape, they looked at the colour, they looked at the materials, but they didn't stand there and they didn't spend 3 years looking at the edge paint to see if it was 5 coats or 4 coats. Or they didn't stand there and stare at the stitching thinking, oh, is it hand done or is it machine done? They genuinely didn't really care. And what I took away from that is, yes, I still love doing the artisanal grade stuff. But if you're stuck in the question between, do I prick it forward, do I prick it back, do I prick it on the front, do I prick it on the back, it doesn't actually really matter. People will just look at it and think, oh, that's lovely. And that's about it. If you're selling to someone who's an artist, like we are, they might notice. But if you're not, they probably won't. I get a lot of questions about what I'm actually doing here. I've showed it on a few videos recently, and I've had people asking me what that is. So I use my edge creaser, which is a Junlin handle edge creaser on a Regard machine, I think it might be. Can't remember from now actually. And I'm setting it on a temperature that's actually above the creasing temperature. It's on like 37, 3.7, 3.5, something like that. And it's melting the wax. It's melting the wax into the thread. Yes, this thread comes waxed from the factory, but one of the things that waxing it does is straighten it, so you don't get as many knots in your thread when you're pulling them through. But it's not very waxed, and when you're using a natural fiber thread, when you're using a linen thread, the breakdown point is because of moisture. Moisture gets into that thread and breaks it down. By itself, it wouldn't really break down that much. So how do we fix that? We put wax into it. And if you just wipe it on, yes, it will stay. But if you heat it on, then it will really stay. If you heat it into the fibers, either putting it over a candle, which is what a lot of people do in Asia, or put it over your creaser, manual works fine. You can just use a blowtorch to heat it up. But then you get those wax fibers into the thread fibers. I'm using a Uniter's edge paint. It's the only edge paint I use. I'm going to be doing, I think I used 4 coats from memory, but I don't actually remember, to be perfectly honest with you. The first coat is quite thick. You then use your creasing iron and you heat that in. And the reason you heat that in is because the fibers absorb, the fibers suck the paint into them and makes it hold a lot better. The biggest issue with edge paint is the fact that it does peel. It will peel, that's just the fact of edge paint. But you increase the longevity of it with heat. So again, if you want to see this, go to my Skool account. I've got the full video tutorial there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to show you the next video. Have a phenomenal weekend. Take care.